The Galactic Defense Academy orbited the moon of Theta 7, a neutral world where dozens of species sent their finest warriors to train. Commander Velvar, a towering Croxian with chitinous armor and for battle-ready arms, stood before the assembled cadets in the main hall. Today marks your final evaluation, his translator announced, turning his clicking speech into standard galactic. You will face simulations designed to test every skill you've learned. Among the 200 cadets stood Jake Morrison, the only human in his class. At 6 feet tall, he looked ordinary next to the hulking Draenor warriors, lightning-fast Zephyrite scouts, and telepathic Mondari tacticians. Most of them still wondered why Earth had been given a seat at the Academy. Humans had only joined the galactic community 50 years ago. They had no armor, no enhanced senses, no psionic gifts. By most biological standards, they were prey animals who had somehow clawed their way to dominance through stubborn will alone. Jake adjusted his uniform and felt the familiar weight of the pen in his pocket. A simple ballpoint from Earth, a gift from his father. You never know when you will need to write your way out of trouble, his father had joked. Jake kept it as a reminder of home. Suddenly the alarm blared. Red light flooded the hall as Velvar's eyes widened. Impossible. Breach in Sector 7. Multiple contacts. This is not a drill. The hall erupted into chaos. The Academy's shields had never failed in 3 centuries. All cadets to the evacuation shuttles. Velvar ordered. Instructors, with me. He never finished. The main doors exploded inward. Creatures of nightmare stepped through the smoke. Zolfori Ravagers, 8 feet tall, digitigrade legs, obsidian exoskeletons that swallowed light, 6 glowing red eyes, mandibles that could crush steel. Blade-shaped arms evolved for one purpose, killing. They were supposed to be extinct. The Purge Wars had wiped them out 2,000 years ago. Yet 3 of them advanced into the terrified crowd. The first cadet to die was a Drock warrior. His scales meant nothing. A Ravager's blade arm punched straight through his chest. Panic spread instantly. Velvar fired his plasma rifle, but the bolts dissolved harmlessly on the Ravager's natural shielding. Born on a death world, they were nearly unkillable. Cadets fell. Screams cut short. Escape routes blocked. The predators were herding their prey. Jake's training kicked in. He assessed angles, movement, weak points. But what could he do? No weapon, no armor, nothing. His hand brushed the pen. Humans had no claws, no carapace, no psychic power. But they had something else, an ancient instinct from a time when everything hunted them. They could see tools everywhere. They could turn anything into a weapon. Jake moved, while everyone ran or died. He sprinted toward the nearest Ravager. Those 6 eyes locked onto him. A blade arm swung down in a killing arc. Jake slid beneath it, momentum carrying him under the creature's guard. As he passed, he drove the pen upward into the tiny seam where the head met the thorax. The only weakness in the armor, the pen punched through. He twisted. Something vital snapped. The Ravager shrieked, a sound that made every species flinch. It spasmed, then fell. The remaining 2 turned toward him. For the first time, they saw the human as a threat. Jake didn't hesitate. He yanked the pen free, grabbed the fallen Ravager's blade arm and tore it loose with a violent twist. Now he was armed. The second Ravager charged. Jake threw the pen. 2 million years of hunting instinct guided the throw. It embedded in the creature's eye cluster. The Ravager stumbled, blinded. Jake was on it instantly, driving the stolen blade arm into the base of its skull until it stopped moving. The third Ravager froze. It felt something its species had never known. Fear. This small, soft creature had killed two apex predators with primitive tools. It finally understood the truth the rest of the galaxy had missed. Humans weren't prey. They were the most dangerous predators in the universe. Disguised as something harmless, the Ravager turned to flee. Jake hurled the blade arm. It struck between the shoulder plates and severed the spine. The creature collapsed. Silence filled the hall. Jake walked to the last Ravager, pulled his pen free, and wiped it clean on the corpse. The cadet stared at him with a mix of awe and terror. Velvar approached with slow respect. "I have fought in 17 campaigns," he said quietly. "I have never witnessed anything like that. You killed 3 Zolfori Ravagers with a writing instrument." Jake clicked the pen shut and slipped it into his pocket. "On Earth, we have a saying," he said. "The pen is mightier than the sword." He looked around the hall. "My people spent millions of years as prey. We learned to survive by turning anything around us into a weapon. Rocks, sticks, bones." He tapped his pocket. "Pens. We misunderstood humans," Velvar said. "We saw you as weak. We never realized every human is a natural weapon." Jake gave a tired smile. "Now you're starting to get it, Commander," as security teams rushed in. Every species looked at the human with new understanding. Earth hadn't sent warriors to the Academy. Earth had sent something far more dangerous. A species that had conquered a death world not through evolution, but through sheer, relentless creativity. A species that refused to die. And in human hands, the pen was indeed mightier than the sword.